Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we are currently running a massive deficit, and we're going to have to do something about that quite soon. This deficit, I should say, is... what is a deficit? I was going to say a deficit there. That's exciting. This deficit is enormous, and we're going to hit our credit cap fairly soon unless we do something about it. Luckily, we are fully capable of doing something about it, so we'll probably have to pause our construction here fairly soon. But we'll keep an eye on that for right now. And let's see, 26.6 million? Yeah, we're definitely working our deficit up very quickly. That's for sure. And this is almost entirely construction costs. So I'm not too concerned about that right now. We're keeping an eye on these constructions, and I think that we'll pause this once we hit about perhaps 30 million. I'm keeping an eye on it, but for the moment, we're doing okay. We're almost certainly going to have to pause it. Almost certainly. But we'll see. So looking through the rest of this... Oh, hello, what is this? Urbanized Prussia has now been successfully completed. Fantastic. That's absolutely great. Winds of change. Westphalia has come a long way since our attention was first brought to it, going from small houses and scattered farmlands to being on its way to becoming a booming metropolis. Blooming, even. The woman sighs. Her old hands stop crocheting for a second. When I was younger, all of this was farmlands. Us kids would just play freely in the fields, not having to worry about getting hit by a cart or those criminals coming to get us, and we still had time to work. Well, Grandma, now people will have even more places to work at. Indeed, finally Westphalia shines like never before. Cool. We also have raising concerns. The intelligentsia have expressed their concerns about government decisions clearly favoring the interests of the industrialists. You don't say. We'll address their concerns, but it's not like we're going to change anything. So as far as the migration controls go, there's a lot of people who are in favor of this. The industrialists oppose it, and I kind of do too, personally, in this situation. I don't think that migration controls are a great idea. Interesting that the trade unions endorse this. I suppose that's because they would have, like, non-union scab competition, potentially? Quite possibly. So, yeah, I could see their concerns there, for sure. We're not going to enact migration controls at this time. I wish that I could right-click on this and make it go away. I can't. So we're not going to do that for right now. We've got a few more weeks until I feel like we really should pause our deficit spending and work our way down. If we didn't have our construction expenditures, we'd be making about 100,000 per week. And like 52k into our investment pool. Fascinating. Now, the reason that we are slowing down our construction right now is because of this power plant, causing our overall construction queue to be longer than 26 weeks. There we go. Now that bumps on up. And our deficit bumps up with it. So that's to be expected. So our credit cap has gone up a little bit. I definitely think that we are going to have to pause our construction. I'm also a little bit concerned about our current bureaucracy. We have this unproductive trade route, which we can definitely get rid of. Secession movements are possible, but I don't think that they're currently too likely. Yeah, the Polish could think about that. Okay, fair enough. What else do we have going on here? These states are in turmoil. We'll deal with that eventually. And ironclad steamers and fish, that'll be used eventually as well. We have this slight problem with our legitimacy. I would like to cut our taxes, but now is definitely not the time to do that. We have an unhealthy economy, that's to be expected. And fabric, ironclads, opium, and tools. Steel, glass, explosives, fabric, and tools. So all of that needs to be worked on, and it is being worked on. We don't have any major issues here right now that I can see, other than our looming bankruptcy. But that is fully under our control, whether we go bankrupt or not. So I'm completely fine with this deficit spending for the moment. We'll bring this on up. We're over 30 million in credit right now. And I feel like that's reasonably okay. We are now the number 2 GDP worldwide. And we're currently a little ways behind France. If we take a look at France, we can see that their population is almost 50 million compared to our 20 million. They have more than double our amount of population. So our GDP per capita is huge. Absolutely enormous. We just don't have the people to project that to number 1. So that's noted. I'm also noting the fact that we are not maxing out our construction right now. I'm wondering if we have reached the point where buildings are not wanting to expand naturally. That's a trade center there. Trade center, the chemical plants there, glassworks. So we have a few, but these are actually already working on expanding. I believe we're getting to the point. Yes. I believe we're definitely getting to the point of having our auto expansion slowing down. Now, we need market access in the North Rhine. And we can definitely work on that. Beautiful. But our factories, those are getting to the point where we can't really expand. I mean, we can expand this power plant here. But I'm expecting our overall construction levels to drop here quite soon. So let's finish up these chemical plants. I'm keeping an eye on our current balance. Our credit cap has gone up a little bit more. So I'm hoping that our construction drops off here, rather than us having to pause it. It would also be very nice if there was a button here to pause automatically adding, but continue the current constructions. Like right here would be an ideal place for that. Pause automatic construction. Unfortunately, that's not a thing right now, but you can see our deficit has dropped pretty dramatically. And the reason for that is because we are capping out our structures. We no longer have a deficit of factories to build. And that's great. That's exactly where we want to be, and that indicates to me that we do not need to expand our construction. In fact, we could think, potentially, about reducing our construction. But that will turn some of the fired individuals into radicals. And I don't think it's strictly necessary right now. So our deficit has dropped extraordinarily dramatically, right? And that's because we are maxing out our factories for the moment. That's a very, very good thing. That means that we should start turning a profit here fairly soon, even as we continue to invest. So we're very happy about that. That is looking very, very good. I am seeing a few new structures be queued up here and there. That's to be expected. Those will trickle in. But we should finish up our primary constructions here and start to turn a profit. Only 27k now. This is looking very good. Okay, we queued up a couple of additional factories over here, and our deficit went up again. But for the moment, that's looking okay. What is our current... Okay, 22 weeks on our construction queue. So we can definitely see that it's below 26 weeks. 14 weeks here. Which, that changed dramatically there. Noted. I'm also keeping an eye on our credit cap. We are very, very near our cap, but we're not there right now. So I'm going to let some of these workshops finish up. There's also a diplomatic play going on. What is this? Revolutionary Denmark started a stamp out revolution diplomatic play against Denmark. Okay, so we probably don't care about this. We'll lean over towards regular Denmark. Excellent. And looking through here, we have flotillas in reserve. We need some taxation capacity in North Rhine. Noted. So we need a government administration. Let's see, that's market access. Interesting that it doesn't display while we're hovering this, but There we go. We need that in North Rhine. And then market access in Anhalt and Westphalia. So let's go ahead and queue up those, Westphalia, and we've already got one in Anhalt, so that looks good. And then I did see some events popping in here. Maybe not. Maybe those events are gone now. So when are we going to hit our credit cap? Not for at least another 11 weeks. Okay, that will allow us to finish up a number of these constructions. Vulcanization has been unlocked. So we have an additional production method for a lot of these. That's great. And West Prussia is in turmoil. Yeah. Sure. Okay, so let's hop into our buildings here and take a quick look. Elastics. Anything else in here? I mean, possibly. But not that I'm seeing with an indicator. Okay, let's look through our rural structures. Don't see anything there. We can bump up to bicycle messengers. Consider that done. Okay. Fantastic. So, this is a little concerning at this point. We need to finish up our existing constructions. Okay, we need to just pause. Well, actually, not quite yet we don't, but I'm going to anyway. We don't specifically have to pause right now, but we're within 500,000 of hitting our credit cap. So we are going to pause our construction. There we go. And now we're just going to pay down our debt for a little while and build up our investment pool. That is our primary goal at this moment. So once our debt hits 30 million, I think we'll resume. But our constructions are paused for the moment. We need to work our way out of this a little bit. That's very clear. Yeah, 33.3 million now? Definitely. So we're subsidizing our railways right now, and I think that's no longer necessary. Let's take a look in our urban buildings here. Or actually, that's under development, isn't it? Yeah, so our railways are... they are losing cash right now. For the moment, I'm going to drop our subsidies on railways. For the moment. And that will help us a lot in our income. So we're now down to 33 million. Like I said, we're trying to go to about 30 million for right now. And our investment pool is ticking up as well. Only 13.8k per month. That's a little wild. 21k? Sure. But I do not like this stagnation that we've got going on here. Our GDP is kind of plummeting right now. And what is causing that? Perhaps it's due to our lack of subsidies? This railway is profitable. I want to be down here looking at railways. This one's unprofitable. Okay, let's only do some subsidies here. So we can see that this one needs to be subsidized. Any of these that are unprofitable are going to be subsidized, but we're not going to subsidize anything that is profitable. Actually, only one of these is profitable. Hilarious. Sure. Well, there we go. We're still making a decent amount of cash here. We're chilling at the credit cap, which I find interesting. Very interesting indeed. Did we just pay down 500,000? Hang on. 300,000 there got paid. $100,000 there. Interesting. And we can see that our GDP is definitely dropping a little bit. And that's primarily due to the fact that we're no longer constructing. But for the moment, this will be fine. Steel railway cars. Hopefully that will help our railways. And we're going to next grab, let's see. Everything on this row is done. So I think we'll grab pump jacks. Fantastic. Now we're going to hop into our buildings and upgrade to steel passenger carriages. Cool. And then looking in at our railways here, that will help their throughput. So that'll drop our subsidies somewhat. I don't like the fact that we're chilling at the credit cap here, though. The credit cap is going down at the same rate that we're paying it down. In fact, our credit seems to be being eliminated as the credit cap drops. Now, the credit cap comes from the sum of all domestic cash reserves plus a base value determined by GDP. Okay. So that's intriguing. I'm not sure why the cap suddenly started plummeting, but it coincides with our GDP plummeting, and I'm guessing that's what it is. Our GDP has dropped pretty dramatically, and we could take a look at what our prices are looking like. Okay. I mean, prices are pretty high. Like, across the board. Wait. Low market access in a lot of locations. This is what's happening. So why is our market access low in all of these locations? That's an interesting question. Okay. Oh, deselected it. So we can do something kind of like this. And how much do we have in our investment pool? About 500,000. We absolutely cannot afford to deficit spend right now while we're at this credit cap. But this market access is the problem. So what drove this? -8 from steel passenger carriages. Okay, so we need to look into that then. So in our buildings, we go into our development, and we look at our production method. So we were on, I think, wooden passenger carriages before, or cargo prioritization. Got it. So that uses an extra 215 infrastructure. Okay. So with that in mind, we will need to prioritize all railways here if we want to really have this happen. And we're going to have to be pretty cautious with this, but we can bring all of these railways up to the top, like so. We bump over to page 3 and get all of these railways up to the top. There we go. So we've got all of these railways here. And that's what we need to work on constructing. Now, we only have 566K in the investment pool. Fair enough. So that means that we can only construct so much. We can resume our constructions. And this is going to pull out of the investment pool very heavily. Okay. So we're immediately seeing that deficit. Basically, we had enough for 1 week. That's exciting. Yeah, and then this drops back down. It was interesting that the credit went back up when we resumed, and then dropped down again. Yeah, it's our market access. So what we need to do for the moment is, I think that this means that we cannot afford to run steel passenger carriages at this moment. And we need to jump back to cargo prioritization. That should fix our low market access here. I think. Once we get shifted over, anyway. I believe that does take time. Westphalia's at 34%. That's incredibly low. Interesting. Well, we're just going to have to continue to... You know what? For the moment, we should bump back up to high taxation. For the moment. We're now seeing our credit drop below our credit max, which is good. That's very good. Is this not updating? Okay. 27 million. And 27.1 million. So that market access is definitely a problem, but it has improved in a bunch of locations. That's good. We have an unproductive trade route, and we definitely cancel that. This is still fundamentally broken, but that's fine. Okay, we'll just continue to let our investment pool work its way up. Sad that our GDP is falling off like this. I expected it to level, but I didn't expect it to fall this sharply. The Ripper, gruesome murders. The Edition newspaper reports a series of horrific murders in North Rhine. According to the article, the police are powerless to stop the murderer rather, who they dub the Cologne Ripper. The ragged old market is full of police lights and pickpockets. The corpse lies face down on the street. There's a long, dark stain that has been following it like a patient hunter all night. The inspector moves closer. Okay, sure. We'll deal with this in a moment. Long dried. The red becomes lighter near the head. Move the body. He moves closer again. Butchered. Fetid. The smell won't leave the street for days. There's more inside than outside of that woman to see now. Closer. Closer. Long dried. Butchered. Fetid. Repulsive. We must bring the killer to justice. Indeed. So that's fine. And looking over here... Yeah, that Westphalia market access is really low suddenly, and I'm wondering why. 18.8 from steam trains. You're on cargo prioritization. Using steam trains. It's due to a lack of engines, maybe? Maybe. That's a hard maybe. Or maybe just due to turmoil. That might be part of it. So our GDP is falling off a little bit. Our investment pool is up to 700k now. And our credit is dropping off. So that's good. We'll pay this down a bit. And we'll get this back online, this construction, soon enough. Should be reasonably okay. Our legitimacy is a problem too, but a couple more unproductive trade routes. Let's get rid of those. Only the one, I guess. North Rhine does have some insufficient taxation capacity, but it is what it is. We need to pay down our debt. If our credit rating wasn't dropping as well, that wouldn't be a problem. I would have already resumed construction by now. Okay, there's a diplomatic play going on in North Germany. Ah, Radical Brunswick versus Brunswick. We'll support Brunswick. Cool. Maybe they'll decide to join us. Okay, so that Westphalia market access is definitely the problem. They have 8+2 steam trains. They're currently hiring. I think that's a big part of it, is that they don't have employees. It's not subsidized. But the cash reserves are increasing. Okay, now they're decreasing. Let's just go ahead and re-subsidize all of our railways. Things seem to have broken when we stopped subsidizing them. So let's re-subsidize that. And with any luck, that'll bring our market access back up. It is. It's bringing it up. Good. Good to know. So we've got about $1 million in our investment pool. We can continue our construction queue here for a bit anyway. For a bit. Not for super long, but for a little while here. Until we start turning a deficit, at which point we'll pause it. And there we go. And that's what we got. So we managed to spend down our investment pool a little bit there. And we got, like, what, 2 weeks in that? That's hilarious. Russia has sided with Austria. What's going on here? Russia begins mobilization. Oh, there's another diplomatic play going on here in radical Austria. Fascinating. So Russia has sided with Austria here. As has basically everyone else. We're going to have to declare neutrality, unfortunately. We can't side with Austria, and we don't want to go against everyone else at this moment. So that'll be fine. But it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue spending down our credit here a little bit, building up our investment pool, and hopefully digging our way out of this just a little bit. Yeah, our market access has drastically improved with those subsidies, so that will be great. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for... Hang on. I just want to check. Our GDP... Hang on. Let me come back here. Wrong button. Let me come back here. Our GDP has slightly leveled off and started to come back up with that market access fixed. So we definitely need to be subsidizing our railroads. Got it. A very special thank you, as I was saying, to all of our channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.